Welcome to the RISE Inside podcast, hosted by Justin Starbird and powered by RISE Robotics. Listen as host Justin talks to experts from the RISE team about topics relating to mechanical engineering, industrial design, commercialization, and innovation. True collaborations work when ideas are integrated at inception to solve significant problems. RISE Inside brings together how the team continues to work with great folks to commercialize ideas. You're listening to the RISE Inside podcast. Here's your host, Justin Starbird.
Welcome back to the RISE Inside podcast. My name is Justin Starbird, and today is exciting. We're continuing our series on Inside RISE, getting to know the people that make RISE so special and unique. And I get to welcome in Erika Murray, who wears many hats for RISE, has several different titles in her repertoire right now, but is the mechanical engineer and technical project manager at RISE, among other things, like, just really awesome person all around and so on. Erika, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
This is pretty exciting. This is your first time joining me on this, but longtime listener, I certainly assume.
Oh yeah, hard not to be.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today. It is neat to get your perspective, especially where your role is so focused on driving the RISE engine internally. A lot of folks I've talked to so far, maybe are more on the customer facing side of things, but you actually focus a lot on the on what goes on inside of the, four walls of RISE. So tell me a little bit about, your role.
Yeah, so I started at RISE as a mechanical engineer only, but very quickly got interested in how that internal engine works here, and wanting to add structure in and help communicate. I mean, one of my big focuses, and it has been since I, started even studying to be an engineer, has been communication. The world has a lot of problems. That's easy to say. The world has a lot of engineers, I would say, like people who are good at solving problems. Like all I think we're missing in between as a world is just communication in between, right? And that you can look at that from many different perspectives. But at RISE, I look at that every day, right? How are we going to be our best? I'm always asking the teams here to reflect. That's one of my big things that they all love. I make them play like reflection games every other week where we talk about, okay, like what did we do last week and how can we do it even better next week? And that's, I think sums up a lot of my role here. So half the time I'm, in the CAD world doing mechanical testing and designing different systems, getting us ready for manufacturing. And the other half the time I'm trying to get the team to focus on how they can improve, what tools we can gather, what different methods we can put into place to make us the best we can be.
That's awesome. Certainly no 2 days are the same then.
No, certainly not. I couldn't even tell you when I get into work in the morning if my day is going to be, getting filthy in the machine shop or on Google Meets all day talking to people. So it's always exciting no matter what.
Well, that's cool. What was your background prior to joining, the team here at RISE?
Yeah, so I went to school at Northeastern. I started as a mechanical engineering major. And while I was there, realized again that I was kind of missing this softer side of engineering, right? It's like more user-centric, more communication focused. And so I started looking into different majors that kind of fit that better and found experience design, which is all about user design, user testing, talking to your users, and just how people interact with technology. And then after a year or two of doing some of my extra credits over there, I decided that I wanted to be a combined major, but Northeastern didn't offer that. They didn't have any combined majors between their art college and their engineering college. So I worked with some advisors and some college deans over there to create a combined major for mechanical engineering and experience design. And then I put those together. That's the degree I graduated with, which was pretty exciting. It took about 3 years to put that together, so it was just in the nick of time. And then I came straight to RISE right out of school. I had already known Nolan Hobart while I was in school, and so he kind of turned me on to what RISE was about, and I got hooked.
That's awesome. What was, when Nolan's sharing that, vision with you and talking to you about, what he's doing all day, what was it that really like struck a chord with you where you're like, you know what, I think that'd be pretty cool?
It's funny, actually, when he first told me about RISE, I knew he was a co-op there because that's how he started at RISE. But all he would say was like, I work at RISE and I think you would really like it here. You should come in and talk to the founders. That's all he'd tell me. He didn't give me some big sell. So I did my own research, and then I, of course, came in and talked with the founders. And the thing that really hooked me was that this technology is so, it's in everything, right? What we're trying to design out, these cylinders are everywhere when you look around. Like everything could be based off them. And the idea that through our technology, everything can be just a little bit greener was pretty exciting to me. I was involved in a lot of sustainability clubs and things on campus at Northeastern. And so following that kind of passion made a lot of sense. I'm also just a fiend for new technology. I think it's really, really exciting after all these years of inventing and human advancement, there's still new things every day. So I was like, new and sustainable, I'm in.
That's neat. Does that transpire outside of work too? What are some of the things that you do when you leave the office?
Yeah. These days, as far as sustainability, rather than I'm not currently in any causes or campaigning, but mostly it's my lifestyle that I like to think about sustainably. So a lot of my activities out of work right now are around, I'm training for a half marathon. So a lot of running, a lot of hiking, a lot of activity. And besides that, I am part of a CSA this summer. So the other part of my life is really experimenting with like new cool foods that are all locally based. That's something I'm super into. And so trying out new recipes through this CSA has been, mostly my summer activity. And I think it will go into winter with their mushroom share. So we'll find out.
That's awesome. Where's the half marathon that you're training for?
It's up in Hampton Beach. It's called the Smutty Nose Rock Fest, and they have live rock music along the route. So it'll be my first half marathon. I'm running it with my mom and my brother, and I'm pretty excited for it. It's October 2nd, so coming up fast.
Oh man, we got to release this podcast then quick. Make sure that we have people out there supporting you.
Yeah, I'm gonna need it, so that's good.
Well, if Smutty knows, at least you have a beer at the end.
We get 2 beers at the end and a lobster roll. So a truly New England half marathon.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, that sounds like reason enough to run fast.
Yeah, all I'll need.
Yeah. Well, thinking about, the way in which you live your life, the way in which, you go to work every day, the vision of RISE is really unique in this space too, relative to how, the work that you're doing today can have, an effect, potentially worldwide as you're solving these problems or, solving the elements that will help make heavy machinery electric. What does that mean to you? And what does that vision of RISE mean to you? And how do you participate in that?
Yeah, when I joined RISE, it was I was a 10th employee, right? So we're a 10-person company. And I think that vision really drove all of us. It was why a lot of us had found RISE in the first place, through Greentown Labs. And to me, it just means that I'm doing something good. At the end of the day, I know that the work I put in here is valuable. And if it's a long day, then all the better that it was valuable work that I spent that time on. It's hard to say. It's hard for me to imagine the true impact we could and will have. I think you're right. It's just so global and overarching, and really hopefully brightens the future a little bit. So for me, at the end of the day, all I need to say is like, it was good work. When I say that I work at RISE, I'm proud to say that. I'm proud to explain to people what we do.
So what does a good day in the life of Erika Murray, look like at RISE every day?
Whew, that's a hard one. Usually it would start with espresso. Wow. I love those days when I'm able to, I start my morning early, and I do it alone too. I make sure I'm the first one in the office. So I usually have an hour to 2 hours where no one else gets in. And I like to set time just in CAD, like problem solving and deep technical space. If I can do that in my morning and then come out of it to get into meetings where people are aligning and working together, that's a good day to me. It doesn't really need much. It doesn't sound like much, at least, but it means a lot to me at the end of the day, to have that combination. And then just to see our team improving week after week is really incredible. Sometimes I worry that no one else sees it, but when you stop and think, stop and reflect, as I like to do, about like where we came from. When I first joined, like two and a half years ago now, where we were, organization, the kind of business we were doing compared to now, it's great. And there's a lot of good days in those 2.5 years that got us here. So just looking for more of those in the future too.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, and to grow almost threefold in that 2.5 year span is pretty impressive as well.
Yeah. I'm so surprised every time I think about it, right? And people mention like, oh, we're almost running out of space in the front office there, and I'm like, that's such a good problem to have. It's so exciting.
Yeah. Where do you see obstacles right now? You're talking about reflection. You're talking about, solving problems. Sometimes, and I'm not saying this within our walls, but sometimes it's really challenging to have some introspection or empathy to understand where you come from, and really understand the plight of the customer. Where do you see obstacles or challenges?
Yeah. I mean, I do, I'm doing the project management and technical side of things, right? So I work with our engineering groups every day. And so the obstacles that I see are probably different than most people would discuss. Instead of technical ones, I see us growing hugely, right? We gained so many new awesome employees, as well as, new projects coming down that pipeline, which is very, very exciting. But making sure that our structure internally has a really good foundation is what I think about on a daily basis, right? How do we make sure that we have those stepping stones set up correctly so that no matter what project comes down that line, we can take it and really, exceed expectations there. So every day, that's what I'm trying to push at. As far as, reflection goes, and I think we're only getting better at looking at our past here at RISE and thinking about what we'll do differently moving forward. We have gone more agile over the years. And so, we're in that Scrum Agile methodology. And that's something I like to think about often, of how can we stay agile for any new application, any new customer? What can we do for our team to support them in that?
Yeah. Well, that also creates opportunities, no? I mean, where do you see the biggest opportunities coming as well? I mean, I feel like you're alluding to some of it, but quite often our biggest challenges become our biggest opportunities.
Yeah, I certainly agree with that. I think that we are changing slowly but surely into, we have this like rock solid, base getting set up on our teams, and looking at the kind of work we can already do, even without adding people. I'm seeing, people just get happier and happier and work get more and more productive, which is pretty exciting. And I'm kind of wondering what the maximum will be. Like, are we going to hit some sort of like threshold for how great we can be? And I don't really know. I hope not.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm looking forward to it to continue to compound on top of each other and to be an exponential factor, right?
Yeah. I hope so. We'll find out.
All right. So let me ask you this last question. What are you most excited about?
That's a hard one. I don't think I wrote down a good answer for that one already. What am I most excited about? I'm excited for every day to be a great day at RISE. I think we're getting there, but
I think there's orange coming right out of your veins right now. You're bleeding orange. No.
I feel it, right? For a lot of us, RISE means a lot, especially during COVID. Like this was a community for a lot of us, because you didn't hang out with your friends, you didn't see your family, but you came to work and you saw each other. And so it means a lot to a lot of us. And I think that, the more we improve our base here, the more our foundation grows, the more rock solid we get internally, the greater each day is going to get.
That's awesome. It's so wonderful to hear, where it's come, since you started, what you've done so far, and to feel, and not just hear you, but feel where we're going relative to new projects, but also knowing that our greatest asset is always going to be the team around us, and the team that's building all this stuff, because without them, we can't solve these challenges. Yeah,
you're so right.
Well, I'm really thankful to have had the opportunity to invite you on. I think we should do more of these.
I totally agree. And thank you so much for having me.
Hey, likewise. I appreciate it. You've been listening to the Rise Inside podcast, where today we've been talking to Erika Murray, the mechanical engineer and technical project manager here at RISE, who really works us all hard to make sure communication is key and reflection on the work we've done is rewarded and acknowledged. So thanks for being on the show today.
Yeah.
Until next time, you've been listening to the Rise Inside podcast.
You have been listening to the RISE Inside podcast, presented by RISE Robotics. On behalf of our guest today and host Justin Starbird, thank you for listening. Please share your feedback on our LinkedIn page